In this video, I am going to show you how to finish up your crossbody bags. These are little mini bags that have pockets, a pocket on the front, a pocket on the back, and a little secret pocket in between. You can make these out of any fabric. Here's some batiks, some K-facet, Christmas fabrics, 30s fabrics, whatever you'd like. To start, you've already made your bag body by channel stitching it. Now we're going to finish the raw edges by adding some binding. You're going to place your binding strips. First you're going to cut them according to the pattern directions, and then place them, fold them in half, wrong sides together, place them on the raw edge of your bag body with the raw edge matching. Notice how the pieces extend beyond the sides of the bag. You'll simply wrap that excess around to the front, and you're placing this binding on the inside of the bag. The inside has that little flange where you stitched it. So you're going to then pin this around to the front like this. Then you're going to stitch across and then fold this up. Turn it to the front of the bag, tuck the little ends in, fold your binding down so that no raw edges are showing. Pin it, do the other side. Again, tuck that binding, that excess binding on the end in, and pin it. Then you're going to stitch across so that you will have something that looks like this. This is the outside of the bag. Flip it to the inside. Draw a line. I'm going to turn this around because this is the top of the bag. Draw a line 2.5 inches in from the top and 3 inches in from the bottom, according to your pattern instructions. Now do that with chalk or a Frision pen so that you can get rid of it when we're done stitching. Then you're going to place your two bags right sides together or outsides together. So it's going to look like this. Now, this is your 2.5 inch line, this is your 3 inch line. You want to slide your handles down below the 2.5 inch line and right up next to the last seam that you sewed when you were channel stitching. That's going to be a 1/2 inch in. You'll want to do that on both sides, so that your handle will be secure once we've sewn this together. Draw a little line, you see this line right here that I've drawn, on the inner edge of each handle. So draw a line here and draw a line over here. Start stitching at that line. Stitch back and forth across the handle twice. Down this first 1/2 inch seam that you sewed when you were channel stitching, across to the first 1/2 inch seam, up and over to the line that you drew, and back stitch over the handle. That secures the handle and attaches the two bag bodies together. The next step is you're going to flip these up, fold the tops down, and you have a bag. Oops, we forgot to sew the side seams. I'll show you how to do that now. So I am going to fold up the bottom layer bottom. So that is, I'm going to fold that up. And normally I would pin it, but for purposes of this, I'm just going to fold it up. The next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to move to the sewing machine to stitch that side seam. So I'm going to move over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to place that side seam underneath my presser foot, and I'm going to be stitching very close to the edge. I'm going to back stitch at the beginning and back stitch at the end. So see how close my needle is to the very edge here? So I'm going to put my needle down, and I'm going to back stitch to the end, and then I'm going to go forward all the way to the top edge of the binding. Now I'm very close to the edge, so you want to sew slowly over that binding edge, and then back stitch. So you'll want to do that with all 4 side seams. There'll be 2 in the front and 2 in the back. So let's go back to the table here, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. So you've sewn 2 here, those 2 edges, and you're simply holding up one side while you sew down the other side. So that creates your pocket on one side, your pocket on the other side. The bottom is completely enclosed, so now you have your secret pocket down in the middle. The very last thing that you're going to do is you are going to add either 2 buttons, or 1 button to the front and 1 button or 2 buttons to the back. Also, you're going to add a magnetic button. Buttons are sewn on. These are magnetic buttons that are sewn on just like a regular button. And this part of the magnetic button is sewn on when you sew your buttons to the front. So you can do those at the same time. There's your little crossbody bag, all done.